Well, everybody's getting their dessert. On your table, you'll see that you have a program. We're not adhering to it at all, but nevertheless, it's there as a suggestion. What's going to happen, I just wanted you to know that tonight's dinner is completely underwritten, so every penny that you have donated tonight goes directly to PRHeSS ministry. So we're very excited about that. And the other thing is just thank you so much for coming this evening and being back as we start to regather as a PRHeSS family once again after 2 years. We had a little sneak preview this summer with Mary's Tea, but we ladies were the ones that had the great recipient benefits of that with our male board members at work. So it was a wonderful time. But this evening, just feel free to help yourself and enjoy. We're going to let the dancers swallow their food so that they can dance and sing with full energy. So the first 2 items up will be President Scott Jabor, and then our updates from our wonderful board members, Leonard and David.
I would like to welcome you tonight to the dinner, the annual PRHeSS Dinner, and thank you for coming as well. We really appreciate everyone's support. I would like to introduce the board members and ask you to stand as I do so. We had a really, really dedicated board. When Barb and I got involved, board meetings were kind of quarterly, maybe sort of, and that ramped up to monthly. And then when we started learning with Leonard, he's taught us how to do grants. It became twice a month, and we have a really, really committed, kind, dedicated board that does this just from their heart completely. So I'd like to thank all of them and thank them one at a time as well. So of course, Sam and Mary. Sam is the chairman of the board, and Mary his partner in everything. And it is of course their story is the reason we're here tonight, and it's a remarkable story of the utmost kindness and caring and generosity of spirit, and I've never seen anything like it. They've sacrificed so much to make this work. And the accomplishments are phenomenal. The countless people who are alive and thriving now, who wouldn't be if it weren't for them, is unimaginable. So we thank them, and you will hear from them later as well. Barb Jabor, she's our general secretary. She did prepare tonight's dinner, and has been working very diligently on preparing us to start submitting grants so we can have some reasonable sustainability for operating expenses. So we're on the verge of being able to start submitting for those. Yesterday was Barb's birthday, and she cooked all day. She loved doing it. She said that. This is what I want to do on her birthday. Last night, the dogs and I, our 3 dogs and I, each gave her a present. Yes, they gave her cards too, because they're that. But we did not sing happy birthday to her. So maybe if we could do that.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Barbara. Happy birthday to you. One more. May the good Lord bless you. May the good Lord bless you. May the good Lord bless you. May the good Lord bless you.
The next board member I'd like to recognize is Vincent Osagi, who is here and just leading that extra chorus. He is our treasurer. He owns an accounting firm. He is a professor and he's a pastor, and I think he does all 3 of those things full time, which I don't get. I just don't know how you can do that, but I think he does. Wonderful, kind-hearted person, and has given so much to press over the years. He was just telling me he's been on the board for 9 years, so he has been very dedicated. David Figueredo, he is our social media coordinator. David has taken a little time off from the board, but he's back. Over the last year and a half, he found a new partner, Morgan, who's here. They moved into a new home. They both got new jobs, and they got a golden retriever named Goose, who's now about this big and full of energy. So we're glad to have him back. Dr. Augusta Olafsdottir. Sorry about that. Dr. Augusta is from Iceland, and she has been an incredible addition to the board. She has done work all over the world for those in need. She has been to Sierra Leone several times now. She's been extremely generous with her time and resources, and just has an incredibly large heart, and she is wonderful. And she's really organized, which I love because I'm OCD. Eleanor Javor is our daughter. She is now living in Seattle, so she's holding down the Northwest. She led our fundraiser with the popcorn sale last year, which was fun and good and raised money, so we'll be doing that again, I'm sure. She is starting nursing school in January, and her goal is to be able to work in Sierra Leone with Sam and Augusta. Leonard Johnson. Leonard is our grant consultant. Leonard is a professional grant writer with the Salvation Army. He took it upon himself to create this course for us, which we call Learning with Leonard. And it's once a month on Saturday morning, and he has led us through the whole process of gathering data and gathering organizations and knowing which ones to contact and how to do so. And we are now right on the verge of being able to start submitting grants. So it's wonderful. And he is also a wonderful guy with a great sense of humor. And he has a lovely daughter, Laura. And she is our marketing coordinator, extremely insightful. She's created our first annual report ever, and she's working on the 2021 annual report. She's wise beyond her years. She has shared with Leonard that I wouldn't say more mature, because she's really mature. The older people on the board need to stop talking about grants and do them. We enjoyed that sort of encouragement, and we need it. So, we have an ad hoc member, Scott Himmel, who did the beautiful blessing tonight. Scott is the pastor of our church, of course, here, and he's offered to lead us through a strategic planning session. Create a playbook for PRHeSS, which is, again, hugely important for grants. It's the sort of thing that really helps give the organization credibility and direction, which is a very firm direction which we're looking for. So we're looking forward to that once we get the grants going out from Lent. And finally, Jeff Piercy. He's our consulting member of the board. Jeff is a professional photographer. You see his work around this room. These photos are from his last trip to Sierra Leone in July. Phenomenal work. If you really stop and look at them, the images capture you completely. And he's been to Sierra Leone several times. He and Dr. Sam have had quite the escapades there, and now Augusta as well. And he's going to talk about some of those tonight. Jeff is also extremely wise. He shares his background experience in the professional world with us and helps guide the board in a very positive professional way. So we are extremely grateful for his presence. So that is our board, and we thank them all very much. Oh, okay. It's update time. Okay, so we're skipping around a little bit. So Leonard and David are going to come up and speak with you.
Okay, the young person has to go and work on it.
Hi everyone, thank thank you for the introduction and kind words, Scott. I'm David Figueredo, in case you're sitting over there. Social media coordinator, member at large. As Scott said earlier, I took a little break, and I'm really glad to be back with the board. Everyone welcomed me back with open arms. I'm just so happy for everyone to be here and to just take a moment to reflect on the successes and updates that we've achieved so far this year. So I will be talking about the hematology analyzer. If you follow our Facebook page, I feel like I should say that as a social media coordinator. If you're not following us on Facebook and Instagram, please do so now, or when you have a moment to pull out your phone. Our Facebook is PRHeSS Sierra Leone, and our Instagram is @PRHeSS Africa. If you are on either of those, oh, excuse me, it has since changed. It is now PRHeSS_Sierra Leone. That is my fault. So, the hematology analyzer. Thurno Financial Services has donated over $10,000 to buy a night generator and a hematology analyzer for our hospital. This will have a huge impact on how we care for our patients. One of our biggest ongoing challenges is a lack of electricity. Our hospital relies on old solar panels, and these only provide 12 hours of electricity during the sunny season and much less during the rainy season. As a backup, we have a big, unreliable diesel generator that gobbles up fuel and is very costly to run. Very recently, a child died because the electricity powered by our diesel generator went out during the night. The donation from TFS will enable us to run a small generator throughout the whole night at a much cheaper cost. In addition, the much-needed hematology analyzer will finally give our staff a better way to diagnose and treat patients. Blood tests are one of the most important things a physician needs to determine what might be wrong with a patient and monitor their progress. Without this information, treatment will often depend on guesswork. Now that our medical staff have access to blood testing, they can quickly identify diseases and make better informed decisions about treatment. These are both great blessings.
Thank you. I'm glad David did that because I wouldn't know how to pronounce it. Just so excited to be part of the board, serve with some great people, great professionals, and get to serve with my daughter. I'm excited about that. That's a blessing for a father. Of course, I think she's replaced me now. They like her more than they like me. Well, basically, also, let me tell you this one quick thing, and I'll move further. How I became part of the board is I actually went over and talked to Dr. Sam and introduced myself, and he saw my card, and on my card, it had certain things on it, but it also had certified grant writer. That was it. So that's why I'm here. It was all over.
The rest is history, all right?
Well, we've been really blessed by so much support and energy and everything, and resources, and we just want to say thank you. We want to say thank you to Les and Sue West, who have consistently provided support to sustain the salaries of our healthcare providers. So we just want to say thank you to them. The FEDSER legacy continues with press support. And this is something else exciting. Our agricultural initiatives have increased with additional acreage for rice, corn, cassava, and palm oil. So we're excited about that. That continues to increase. The funeral home is now operational. PRHeSS has employed 51 hospital and architectural and security employees. So we're excited about that. People continue to get help. Project Comfort, this I think Reverend Barbara mentioned, is named for Dr. Sam's sister, will target salaries. It's a grant initiative that will target salaries for nursing staff, provide computers for improved record keeping, and enable teleconferencing for instructions and consulting with doctors in the U.S. And will provide the medications and medical equipment necessary to support nurses. So we just want to say thank you. We're excited also about, we're starting our initiative actually sending out more grants. If anybody knows anybody that works for a foundation, please let us know.
Before we finish the updates, it's my pleasure to be able to lift up another purchase that was done. We have a CBC machine. I think that person, is she in here? Is Marge Bassini here? She's in here. Oh, okay. Well, Marge donated the salary that she would have earned as an adjunct professor teaching a course that she truly loved doing. And that money went directly to the CBC. Now, it takes me like forever to, Augustus told me what this machine is for 6,000 times, and I still don't quite get it. Okay.
Blood count, white cells, and platelets.
Yeah, which is kind of important. If you don't know that, you don't know a lot of things. So you can't save people without knowing if there's an infection raging in them. That much I do know. And we are so grateful. So, I mean, it's just, and we're just mentioning a few. Everybody here tonight is such a wonderful supporter, and we are so excited about some of the things that are happening. But right now we have so much to do and so much to keep aware of. But we always have to keep one step ahead of Dr. Sam. But that's impossible, because he is always one step ahead of us. So we always get the Dr. Sam surprise, and we figure out how we're going to do the next thing. And that's what we've been doing. And thank you very much, David and Leonard, for bringing us these wonderful updates. And now it's time to get some dancing and some music. Are we ready? I think they're ready. Thought they were ready. I could always come up with another thing and change the program again, but let's just find out.
What was it? Press what for Instagram?
Yes.
But they were here. I think they're out in the hall. Let me see. They did have dinner. Well, maybe they're still getting ready. Is that what's going on, Mary? Do you think? Okay, then if they're still getting ready, then we have the next thing. Okay, just while I'm on a roll. Oh, they are here? Okay, well, I'll do this first. All right. Oh, false signing. Okay. Well, tonight, unfortunately, Bev and Linda Fetzer and Lori Fetzer were not able to join us. They're in Florida. But I do want to be able to hold up a wonderful custom that Dr. Sam introduced me to. And it is a way of memorializing people who have done something special. And it's called a resolution. And so, therefore, I would like to read the resolution in loving memory of Wade Fetzer. If you pour yourself out for the hungry and satisfy the desire of the afflicted, then shall your light rise in the darkness and your gloom be as the noonday. From Isaiah. Whereas Wade expressed compassion and care for the people of rural Sierra Leone. Whereas Wade was a source of financial support since the earliest days of Pan-African rural health and social services. Whereas Wade was a guiding light of generosity when the Henry Cornway Hospital was built. Whereas Wade was a devoted friend and source of inspiration to the press leadership. Therefore be it resolved that the Pan-African Rural Health and Social Services recognizes Wade Fetzer for being the caring, compassionate, and dedicated member of the press family that he was, and for his immeasurable contributions to the people of rural Sierra Leone. And therefore be it resolved that the Pan-African Rural Health and Social Services offers sincere condolences to his wife Beth, his family, the congregation of North Shore United Methodist Church, and all who knew and loved Wade Fetzer, and will never forget his legacy of contributions to the humanitarian efforts of press. Be it further resolved that the Board of Pan-African Rural Health and Social Services will continue to support the healthcare initiatives of the Fetzer Wing of the Henry Corwin Hospital. And now, okay, well, I don't know. All right, Scott's on a hunt. He will find them. Have they been found?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Oh, perfect. Okay, we're going to switch up again. Lauren, would you please hop up and talk about ways to help? That's all right, doesn't matter. Yeah, sure, go right ahead. And we'll let Dr. Sam and Mary bring it on home.
Hello everyone, it's good to see everyone in person. I was really sad we couldn't have our dinner last year, but I'm glad that everyone is here now. Like Scott said, my name is Lauren Johnson. I'm an at-large member of the board, and I joined the press board because my father met Dr. Sam and went to a board meeting and said, hey, maybe you could help. So why don't you come and observe a board meeting? And I did.
That's what happened to all.
And then I ended up on the board. And I was just, let's go and let's do it. So you all know when we invite you together, it's not just to share in wonderful delicacies from Sierra Leone or look at pictures or hang out. You know we have an ask. But what's different about the ask for press is that we're not just asking for funds just so, we can write a check and not make any impact after that. Everything that you donate, all of the help that you offer to the organization, it doesn't just impact the health of one person, it impacts their entire livelihood. In the US, we talk about the social determinants of health, and there's a lot of research that says that they can actually trace your health outcomes based on your zip code, without even looking at you or talking to you, because the conditions in which you live your life impact how healthy you're going to be. So imagine if your zip code is rural Africa. Imagine what those health outcomes look like without some type of intervention. And that intervention can't just be a one-time treatment. It means someone is sick and they go to the hospital, but then they go home. Where do they live? What do they eat? What if you tell them to eat better food and there isn't any? So PRHeSS takes in that full global approach. You've heard about agriculture, you've heard about infrastructure, you've heard about training and development so people have jobs and opportunities. All of those things come together to increase someone's health outcomes and how they're able to live their life. So what PRHeSS does, we improve the conditions in which people live so they can live their best lives with dignity. And so we brought you all here just to remind you of that mission and to ask you to continue to partner with us. So when we wrap up today, I will be back by that beautiful piano. I wear this bright red blazer so you can't miss me, so everybody don't try to sneak past me. And we have all sorts of ways for you to ask for more information about any of our programs. We have a brochure if you want to learn a little more, if you want to take it to go speak with someone else and share. But we really just want you to know that we value you as our partners and we need you, because you'll see on the card, the need doesn't end. So we're not going to stop, and we hope that you won't stop supporting us either. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lauren. And now it's time, the moment we've been waiting for.
Open my eyes to the light of understanding. Open my eyes to the light of true commanding. Open my eyes to the knowledge of the way. On this day, we be the gift to the people. Behold my church and look at my steeple. See me in my need, oh, see me in my Father's seed. See me on the way to a new day. New day, new day. Albe Kairato. The proper response is Kaira Daram. Can you say that? This is the Mandingo language. I have asked you, have you come in peace? And you have responded by saying, peace only. We are the Moya Dance and Music Ensemble. And I really wish I could greet you in the Sierra Leone language. Is anyone familiar with the Sierra Leone language? Any of the many languages of Sierra Leone? How would you greet a crowd? Because I really want to know. I tried to find out before.
In our dialect, we say boa.
Boa.
Biscuit.
Boa boucher.
Biscuit.
Boa bichet.
Biscuit.
Desia.
Kawiyena.
Kawina.
How are you?
Okay.
Kawiyena.
Kawina.
Boa means hi.
Okay. Now which language is this?
The Mendi.
Oh, Mendi, yes, I've heard much about the Mendi. I've heard much about the Mendi, and I'm looking forward to going to Sierra Leone. So Moya means family, and strong families mean strong communities.
Yes.
So at this time, I would like to introduce an instrument to you known as the talking drum. This is a talking drum. In African tradition, this drum is equivalent to the telephone. This drum commanded to people to come together for different events. It sounds that something big is fixing to take place. Now, I don't know if many of you remember from a long time ago, it was a very popular program came on WVON. Did anyone listen to WVON?
Yes.
You did. So there was a man, I forget his name, I used to remember it. But anyway, when his program came on, it was called The Talking Drum, and you could hear the talking drum as the program came on. Do you remember that? Okay. So we're going to have a presentation by our brother from Senegal, West Africa. His name is Modu Tama Bank.
Everybody okay?
thought that it was important for me to share the talking drum with you this day because we have been bringing different instruments. Some people have heard of the talking drum, but they never really heard the talking drum. So we will be back in a few minutes. We'll let you continue with a little bit more of your program, and we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you.
Jeff? And
I guess we're on it, right?
go ahead. Yeah.
My name's Jeff Piercy. I work with For Good Photography. We're a nonprofit organization that provides photography and videography services to other nonprofit organizations. I began working with PRHeSS in 2016. Sam's son called me. He had worked for me as an accountant, and he called me and said, "Could you help my dad and his board?" So I met with him, and Sam has this gravitational pull. You get into his sphere of influence, and you begin to feel a suction. And you get closer and closer to him, and life gets better for you. Through this whole time, my partners and my wife partner agreed that our work with PRHeSS would be on a pro bono basis. And so this was my 4th trip to Sierra Leone, and each trip is different. We plan every trip with extensive ideas of what we're going to accomplish, and none of them get done. This is Africa, after all. And this trip was no exception. My purpose in going here was to do video of training that Dr. Augusto was going to do for the staff. That went out the window on the first day. We just saw that it was physically impossible to do that kind of training in this setting. People are too busy, there's too many patients, and it's too hard to gather staff together in any meaningful way for a training. So I put down 50 pounds of photo gear. I'm not going to use it. You know, all the videography gear was no longer in play. And instead, I used my little camera and went back to my sources, which was as a photojournalist when I was a very young man. And so I began to document Dr. Augusta working in the hospital and working with people doing rounds and patient care. And it was in an environment that put me back to my old photojournalism days. I no longer could have the luxury of the beautiful kinds of photography that you can do with modern equipment. I was working in very low light. So you'll see in some of the work that I'm going to show you here tonight, you'll see that it has a lot of grain, or noise as we call it today with modern cameras. It has a lot of grain. I was shooting at astronomical ASAs or ISOs. When I first started whoops, something's happening here. There it is, okay. When I first started with PRHeSS, we had a hospital. It was really a hospital in name only. I was there the first day we saw patients. This is it. This is Sam trying to get together the medications and things he would need to be able to see patients. We could only see them on an outpatient basis because we were not staffed or ready to have the hospital open. The word went out that Sam was going to start seeing patients. We thought some would probably show up, and this is what we came to when we came into the hospital that morning, was this many people waiting for us. That number did not decrease throughout the day. They just kept coming and coming and coming. How many did you see that day, Sam? You remember? Oh, okay. Believe me, it was an exhausting day.
I think it was
Now,
300.
what?
300.
Oh, we said 300 back then. Fast forward to this trip. And this is the Nigerian surgeon about to do a 4-hour abdominal surgery on a patient in our surgical theater. I left the room. I think they thought I was squeamish, which I'm not. I was overcome and almost to the point of tears. To see the change from when we first opened that hospital to watching a 4-hour abdominal surgery is incredible. It's overwhelming. And it got me thinking that what we do in PRHeSS and in the hospital is that we are an organization of aspiration. We say something needs to get done because the need is there. The need presses on us to do more. And as we do more, we aspire for things that are way out of our reach. When that hospital was built, it was way out of our reach that we'd actually be seeing patients like this. It was beyond any expectation. But we built a hospital and we aspired to do it. Some people say that we are not a faith-based organization, but I'm here to tell you we are. Another word for aspiration is faith. We aspire to do something, we say we're going to do it, and then we have faith that it can get done. That faith is you. It's the people who give us the supplies and equipment and money to be able to perform miracles. I just love this shot. When I shot this shot, I was reminded of the old country song, On the Wings of a Pure White Dove, he sends his pure, sweet love. I thought that they looked like doves. Here's the operating room. Now, my former job was to accredit operating rooms. This wouldn't make it. Believe me, this would not make it. There are so many things that you would point out and say, oh my God, they're going to cut into this person. But then the surgeon, when he came in and he draped things and he cleaned where the operation was actually going to place, he was sterile. The field was sterile. Then he did something. He had everybody on the surgical team place their hands on this man's body. And then he prayed. And it was a long prayer in which he said, please, Lord, let us open our minds so the knowledge we have can flow forth and we can treat this man. Please guide our hands so that the training that we have will come through our hands and we can save this man. The Joint Commission might think of that instead of a timeout. This is the one piece of diagnostic equipment that we had then. We're getting more now. But at that time, this was the ultrasound. And it's an interesting photo because he's Nigerian, he doesn't speak Mende. So this woman is translating for the patient into Mende, whatever the doctor says. And you can see this guy kind of peering up, trying to look at what the physician is saying. And it's this kind of combination of ways that we make things work. You have heard that we need electricity. This is a common every night occurrence. This is how you treat people in a hospital when you have no electricity. This is Dr. Augusta working with two of the staff. as they read somebody's chart. I want to go back just a second to that whole thing about faith and about aspiration. We say we have a cancer treatment center. Well, we have a building we call a cancer treatment center. We don't treat cancer. We can't. We don't have the equipment. We don't have the personnel to do it. But we have an aspiration that one day that cancer treatment center will be fully functioning and we'll be treating cancer. I've been around this organization too long to not believe that's going to be true.
Amen.
You can take it on faith. This is Dr. Augusta. This was a terrible day. This was just a terrible day. This little girl was there, and Dr. Augusta said, I think we're going to lose her, you know, and was treating her. A very common disease is
Malaria?
Malaria, thank you.
Yeah, typhoid.
Yeah, malaria and typhoid are such common diseases. But 24 hours later, she bent down so she could talk to the patient. The patient had no voice, so she had to get very, very close. And so the patient could whisper to her how she was doing. That's a success story. We need an administrator of this hospital and of all our programs. Things don't function the way you would expect them to function. And this is not a criticism of PRHeSS or the hospital or anything. It's a fact. This man carried his son from his home because he was absolutely non-responsive. He had been that way for days, and he carried him miles to get into the hospital. We put him into this transfer chair. I didn't. They put him into this transfer chair. One of the things we did in this trip is that we built an emergency room. Now, what we call an emergency room is a room, and we put a bed in it. That's the emergency room. Nothing available for us to do except to say, this is our emergency room. This is a segregated space where we'll be able to see patients. So we took him to the emergency room. I could see what was happening in my photojournalistic skills, and I ran down the hallway to get ahead of him because I was wondering how they're going to get him past the motorcycle that's parked in the hallway. This doesn't happen at Christ Hospital. Dr. Augusta shouted, oh, I can't use the language she used, to get that motorcycle out of the hallway so that this man could be wheeled into the emergency room. Well, they got out of the hospital, out of the hallway, they turned it around the corner and parked it right in front of the pharmacy. So that when she calls for ringers, they couldn't get into the pharmacy to get anything. A skilled administrator wouldn't let that happen. Wouldn't let that happen. But we don't have that person right now. But I have faith. Then things got worse. We had 2 babies. 2 babies in our emergency room. We fought like hell. The one was had such a high fever that she was seizing on an ongoing basis. And she was literally brain dead. And her body caught up with her brain then, and she died. Through this all, Augusta was teaching nurses, teaching our community health workers, constantly touching and in care of the babies. We didn't have the equipment. One of the babies had an extended abdomen because she had a bladder that was full. We didn't have the correct piece of equipment. What do you call it? What? Catheter. We didn't have the right size catheter. We had catheters for all kinds of adults and things like that, but we didn't have a child-sized catheter. But we had babies. So eventually, she pressed on the baby's tummy until it began to express urine. The other baby needed to have a line put in so that we could start fluids. We didn't have a child-sized needle to be able to do that. We ended up with a very skilled lab tech who was very skilled at putting lines in. And he was able to start a line into her scalp. We didn't even have a clock in the room. And we couldn't measure heartbeats. And so somebody ran out into the other room and got a clock off the wall and brought it in and put it on the baby's bed so that we'd have something to be able to do timing with. Look at the number of staff. Look at the intensity of this photograph. You know, and people trying like hell to save this baby. That night, oh, I have to tell you about the oxygenators. We had two oxygen concentrators. One's 5 liter, one's 10 liter. The 10 liter was being used for a 58-year-old woman down the hallway who had
Serious pneumonia.
pneumonia, thank you. I have a staff. Who had pneumonia. Dr. Augusta said we have to switch those oxygen generators out and give her the 5 liter and take the 10 liter for the baby. I said, what's going to happen? And she said, that woman will die this afternoon. And she did. 58 is a long life in Sierra Leone. So we put this baby on that 10 liter, and of course, you notice that she has an adult-sized mask strapped to her head, because we don't have an infant-sized one. We take it on faith that someday we will be able to accurately treat babies and children as we should be able to in this hospital. We are the recipients of an enormous amount of generosity, but we can only do what's given to us. Everything in that hospital has been given to us. And so when Henry Schein sends us huge amounts of equipment and supplies, that's wonderful and we use them. But if they didn't happen to include child-sized equipment, we don't have it. There's a gap. In my old profession, we'd call it gap analysis. Here's what we have to work with. Here's what we need to work with. How do we bridge that gap? We bridge that gap on faith. We bridge that gap with you giving us money. It's as simple as that. Without money, there's no insurance. Without money, we can't afford to bridge the gap. The baby was put on a 10-liter oxygen machine for the night, and during the night, the solar power, of course, went out, and the generator was supposed to be started. I was asleep, and I had a little fan going, and the fan quit. And I can only talk from my perspective. Others can talk from theirs. The fan quit, and I knew what had happened. I knew the generator hadn't started, and the baby was dying. I knew that. And I started to count. I was counting my own breaths. And I was thinking, she's sucking on an empty oxygen mask. The baby died. I let that sink in for a second. The baby died. In spite of everything we could do, of everything we wanted to do, of everything we tried to do, there was a crack in the system between what we aspired to do and what we could do. And through that crack, a baby fell. We'll get better at this. I guarantee you we'll get better at this. I guarantee you we'll be able to treat children someday. In the meantime, we keep pushing the envelope to where the need is in the community, hoping that we can backfill into these areas where the need still exists. There's so much love. There's so much we do out of what we believe. And there's so much that is left to be done. Thank you. Well, I'll take questions a bit because we're waiting for the dancing. I got to tell you one story, okay? I can't end on that note, okay? I tested positive for COVID while I was trying to leave the country. And I was quarantined in a hospital, which is like a prison there. And I was quarantined there for 5 days. I was so angry. I was just livid. And I was in my little hospital room just laying on the bed like this. And somebody knocked on the door, and he opened the door just a crack and looked in. It was a Muslim man from South Africa. And he said, "How are you?" And I said, "I'm angry." And he said, "May the Lord in His mercy lift that from you, because otherwise you'll have a very hard time." And then he closed the door. And it worked. Here I was in Sierra Leone, quarantined in a government hospital, and the man came in, a Muslim from not my faith, not my country, and he prayed for me. Thank you, Judge.
I'm just going to be brief. I think that his pictures say more than anything. Jeff is a genius at capturing the moment, the atmosphere, and that says more than any words. So I've been to Sierra Leone twice this year. I went in January and then again in the end of July. And I think we've been talking about, yes, all the things that we have been lacking. And I'm so excited about the fact that I hear that very generous people are going to be helping us with the biochemistry analyzer, the CPC machine, and nighttime generator, and it just makes a huge, huge difference, because many of the people that come, they're so sick. These are people that should be in intensive care unit. These babies should have been with a pediatric intensivist, you know, but they're not there, you know. So we do our best, and we will continue to do our best. I want to say that I saw a significant positive change from the time in January until end of July. We have hired more staff, and the staff that we've hired is amazing. We have now approximately 8 nurses, and Dr. Cormoy, he has chosen such wonderful people. They are so smart, they are so eager to learn, and they work so hard. And seeing these, and the community health officers that have been added to our group, one who can do surgeries, one who's my namesake almost, his name is Agustin. And they are so smart, they are amazing, and that seeing all these people, that also gives me great hope that we will continue to do more and do better. One of the things that I am super excited about is the possibility of remote teaching and telemedicine.
You know, we're going to have the electricity, we have Wi-Fi, we just need we need to get up to, you know, solid 4G, but then once we have that, the possibilities are endless. So what I foresee is that I could get excellent physicians to do teaching remotely to help our staff because they are hungry to learn. They are amazing. Anyway, I want to thank you all for being here and supporting us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Fanga alafia, ashe, ashe. Fanga alafia, ashe, ashe. Fanga alafia, ashe, ashe. Fanga our musicians for you tonight, in which many of them have performed here before, many times, for the Sierra Leone community. Modu Tama Mbangi from Senegal, West Africa. Because what I really would like to be able to present to this community is dances from Sierra Leone. We present something from neighboring Liberia, Senegal, Gambia, Mali, Guinea, Nigeria, Ghana. But the community that's represented here is Sierra Leone. So that's one of my dreams. You know, so by the grace of God, perhaps in the future you can help us be able to do that. Because Africa is a big continent, you know, with many different ethnic groups. At least we can have some representation from Sierra Leone. And my name is Aisatu Bay. Thank you so much.
Okay, well, we are closing our program this evening from hearing, well, Dr. Sam, is he out there? You might need to. He probably is. Dr. Sam, you could tell Dr. Sam wanted to dance. Yeah. He was holding it back. What do you think, Mary? Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Well, Dr. Sam and Mary wanted to close the program this evening before we have Reverend Vincent give us our benediction. And Mary, if you want to come up, and then Dr. Sam and I know you wanted to talk about the Christmas.
Oh, the candy.
Yeah, come on up and tell us about it. You'll come, don't worry about it. We'll get them. Yeah, you have like cramps, right?
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. I'm more than excited, happy for all of you taking your time out of your busy schedules to celebrate with us this evening with the PRHeSS family. It's always a joy to come together for fundraising to go help people in Sierra Leone because the need is so great. We're always here asking for help, but the people need the help. So I'm grateful and thankful for all of you that have been with us through the years and all those that have joined us along the way, along this journey to help the people of Sierra Leone. I would like to talk about my Christmas candy, what's the day after Christmas?
Boxing Day.
Boxing Day. Christmas giveaway to the kids in Sierra Leone. As Augusta and Jeff were just talking, they gave something to the people back there, and some people never had it before. They are grown-ups in Sierra Leone that never had candy, have never eaten a piece of candy. But I concentrate on the children. It's been 7, 8 years. Each time we go home, I always make sure I ship some candy for the kids for Boxing Day. Sometimes I even leave my own personal stuff just to check it in. So to make sure that when we get there, I have it on me to give the kids on Boxing Day. So I'm appealing for a donation, support for candy drive for the children in the village. Your time, your effort, your money will be well appreciated. And I'll make sure next time I bring. The last year, my son and his family were there, so they did a candy giveaway. I wasn't in the picture. But this year they are not going, so I'm going to do it alone. Except I get some help from the guy behind me. So I'm appealing for donations, support for candy drive for the children in the village. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That was a tradition she started about 13 years ago. I mean, it's since 2013, I'd say. It's like 7 going to 8 years. And every year on Boxing Day, these kids are looking forward to that. They come in large numbers, looking for the goodies. Good evening again to all of you. To the clergy, ladies and gentlemen, once more I say thank you for coming. We truly appreciate all of you, your contributions, your donations, your well wishes, your prayers above all. We have this heartfelt thank you, to enable PRHeSS to do what we are doing. It's beyond expression. We are eternally grateful. A very special thanks to Dr. Barbara Jibo for your devotion to the cause, your hard work, tirelessness, and all that you've given to PRHeSS. Thank you. May you be rewarded richly. Reverend Hamel, thank you. Thank you for bringing this session to the national and international level through your recording. Thank you for all your support, the church support, the entire church family. I thank all of you. We truly appreciate it. You have been a very strong supporter of what we're doing. And not sure family really has become part of our family. Every time we talk about our family, we consider close friends like you. And PRHeSS family, of course, not sure is a major part of that. So thank you. R. Scott Jabo, you are a wonderful man. Your wonderful leadership has brought PRHeSS to a level that we didn't imagine would be today. We appreciate your leadership, your contribution, your innovative leadership is appreciated. Thank you. May you be rewarded. May all of you be rewarded by our Father who art in heaven. You have said it over and over and over. PRHeSS is built on nothing but trust. Trust in God. Having faith. We started this organization with not a cent put aside. So this is what we have, this is our budget, this is what we're going to use PRHeSS for. Reverend Vincent knows that. We've all been going from that onset, from 2006 when we started, until we had recognition of 501c 2007. We've all just been working on faith. Hard work. We always believe that we will succeed in what we all decide to do. And he has never failed us. So we stand him very strongly on his promises. Remember, he's a promise keeper. He's a way maker. And he has always made ways for us when we seem to have no way, to see no way in sight. When we came from Sierra Leone, Dr. Augusta and I and Jeff, we were crying so hard for lab equipment, chemistry analyzer. If we had this, it would be fantastic. Hematology analyzer. Oh, a standby generator for the night, because all this. A few months later, God just brought all of those things for us. I'm thankful to God, and I'm thankful to have all of you as our supporters. We will continue just following this pattern of faith and trusting in God. And I know for sure that whatever we agree on, we all touch and agree together, He will make it possible for us. No doubt about that. To the entire board membership, I say thank you. You have all been wonderful contributors in your efforts, your resources, your mental acuity. And we've been really, really effective because of that. I remember when we first started, when I went to Sierra Leone, I had a board that would wait. If I've been in Sierra Leone for 1 month or 2 months, they will wait until I come back before we have even our regular meetings. Now God has brought a set of people together, committed enough to meet every 2 weeks or every month. Every 2 weeks when it becomes eminent that we have something coming. Every month, maybe twice a month, even in my absence, because we all know what it means to commit to a cause. And I really appreciate all you board members. Thank you so much. To Jeff, Dr. Augusta, we have suffered together for so long. Thank you for your devotion to the cause. Thank you for your sacrifices. I know for sure it's not in vain that we are doing what we're doing. We have a great commission from our Father to care for one another, our brothers and sisters, our brothers keepers, and also to care for the least of these, and that's exactly what we're doing. You know, everything is vanity. But if you're comfortable and you meet your brother who is not comfortable, and you can afford to give him a piece of bread, why don't we do that? And that's what we're doing. It doesn't mean that we're rich. We're just content. And we know that he will take care of us because he promised to do that. And he'll give us wisdom enough to be able to make that happen. So we are all trusting him. So continue to help us continue doing what we're doing. Because all we are doing is to his glory. I must hasten to tell you that all your contributions, all your donations, all your supplies you give, donations in cash or kind, 100% goes to PRHeSS. We, all of us here in America, and even men in Iceland, we are working for PRHeSS for free. No one gets paid. Not a cent to anybody. The only people that get paid are those that are working for PRHeSS in Sierra Leone. They don't even know they're working for PRHeSS. They're working, the nurses working, the doctors in the hospital, they're working for the hospital, they know. You know, the farmers are working, they're farming for the hospital. That's all they know. They get paid. And we are happy to get them paid. You know, it's not like they're earning a lot of salaries, but just something that can make them take care of themselves, their families, their children. The need that was so acute back there is being removed somehow. You know, so we feel happy to do that. And that's the reason why we continue doing what we're doing. It gets tough sometimes, but we still believe in what we're doing, so we press on to do it right, and it's always been a success. With them. You know, our work does not come without challenge, as you may imagine, or some of you know. A lot of challenges we come across, but it doesn't stop us at all, because we know there is nothing impossible to the God we serve. We know he is the God of abundance. And he's the God of excellence. That is the reason why, let me refer back your memory to Jeff, remind you again what Jeff said. We aspire to have that hospital as one of the best in the country, if not the very best. It's just a matter of time. We are mindful to put priorities on what we can do, but I know that before long, that hospital will be the best in the country. With what we have and the prayer warriors that we have here, it will happen. So we want the best for that hospital because our God is the God of excellence. We will get all that we want because our God is the Lord of abundance. And he will provide for us all the resources we have according to our needs. No doubt about it. Well, we have problems with our system, as we say, the medical system, the equipment, we've had some. We need renovation of the infrastructure that we have now. We need care. Our nurses, our staffing, they need constant pay. We haven't paid them for October yet. Today is the 6th. We need salary for the entire team out there. But we know we will. He didn't bring us 13 years up to this point to leave us. He will see us through. And if he can bless us with all the equipment we talked about already, much how much less that one, because the salaries are not less. For 51 people, now salary of $6,800 for 61 per month. 51 employees, 6,800. So you can imagine that. It's not even the salary of 2 people in a month. But anyway, the situation is what that calls for. The country is what that calls for. The environment. So we trust him, and he will do that for us as well. Our agricultural sector is expanding just like the hospital itself is. We need help mechanizing that so we can grow enough to feed the population. We are trying very hard to do 500 acres last year of rice alone. But we had problem with tractor. It became very expensive and too much waste of time. So we were only able to do 80 acres. Currently, it's ready for harvesting. They are harvesting. I give instructions that they start harvesting. Part of it is ready for harvesting. We will use that to feed the hungry over there, and also keep some seeds for this year. Hopefully we'll be able to get some help with mechanization, maybe some easy access to tractor, because our tractor has not been functioning. The driver ruined the tractor, and it's not functioning. It cost me a lot to repair it, and it still didn't function. It didn't have enough energy to do the plowing. It's only good to carry stuff. So, if we have to haul anything, we use it, but not for plowing. So we hire tractors to do our plowing and our farming. We've been blessed with so much donations of medical supplies, medications, some equipment, but our recurrent problem is that of shipment. Shipping a 40-foot container from here to that place has always been a headache, because by the time we meet up the other expenses, shipping becomes a hazard. So our warehouse is full, our garage is full. I can't park in the garage anymore. But we are okay until the Lord can give us some help to have that shipment done. I was planning that we can ship by the 15th of this month. I yet have to hear from above what help we can have to make that happen. But I'm very hopeful that we will ship, because as I said, we serve the God of abundance, and He is the way maker indeed. Now, among all the problems we faced while we are there, this last trip opened my eyes to one major problem. I shipped vehicles back there for my use before, many years back, actually 2 Durango SLTs, and one gave up, the other one was functioning, but these vehicles have grown old. And the mechanics there do not know much about American vehicles. They can do more with Japanese vehicles, the Toyotas, Nissans, and things like that. So this last time, my friend Jeff I felt so sorry for him. He just sucks everything in. He doesn't complain. But we got stuck on the road a couple of times. I would rather, in the middle of all that we go through, if we have good transportation that can take us from point A to point B straight, it will be much better than going through all that we go through. Then somebody is stuck on the road and we can't get a mechanic and you stay hours there. It's really terrible. So that's one of the things pressing things that we should try to address. Vehicle for us. I don't mind People know me around there. No harm will come to me, but he will not understand that. And she will not. But the past 2 times she went, because we don't have a reliable vehicle, she has a friend, that takes her to places, because our vehicle is not reliable. And this young man's vehicle has been quite reliable for the last 2 times when she's there. So Dr. Augusta has, that blessing to have that person. I don't know how long that blessing will last. So we need our own vehicle that can be reliable enough for our mission. That's one challenge. And a major one too, because I care too much about the safety and the convenience of my brothers and sisters that join me out there. Pay for themselves, go, pay for their food, go, and then we fellowship once and then walk. The least we can do for them is provide them with, a decent transportation that will not put their lives at risk. Well, let me not forget to remind you that we have displays over there. If you need some handmade jewelry, some thing that you can use for yourself, men and women, have a look at it when we are done here. But finally, I must confess to you that while we are there in Sierra Leone and working hard, sometimes have difficult decisions to make. Like Dr. Augusta came crying that night after we lost that baby and that lady, with a decision that I hope we will not have to make again, to have an equipment to save one person over the other, irrespective of their age. Those are difficult days. Those are difficult decisions to make when you have to decide on who lives and who dies. Almost knowing the end result of the situation you see, health situation, as a physician. That is hard. It's heart-wrenching. But above all, we know that even in difficult times, we can survive it. You know why? Because we know you are there for us. That we are not alone, even when we are in the jungle. We know that we have prayer warriors storming the heavens on our behalf, thinking of us, keeping us in their thoughts and praying for us. So even in the middle of difficulties, we know we are not alone. We know we are working with a team of believers, team of faithful people that are storming the heavens and say, you will come back safely. And no harm will go your way. No weapon formed against you will prosper. That is our comfort. And I tell you tonight that that comfort lives on as long as we have partners like you. So again, I say thank you. Thank you for being part of us. Thank you for being in partnership. Thank you for all your sacrifices to see PRHeSS going. May the Lord continue to bless all of you. Amen.
I think we should, as we have a prayer tonight as we go forth into the evening from Reverend Osaki, I think it would behoove us to stand up and form a circle. I know your knees are probably tired from sitting, but now this is good. You won't fall down as you go toward the steps after we finish this evening. And if you feel comfortable, if we can hold hands, that would even be better.
Thank you. Okay, if I may say, it has been a wonderful evening. I hope you feel likewise. I'm so thankful as a board member for each and every one of you taking the time out of your busy schedule to be with us tonight. May the good Lord bless you in Jesus' name. Amen. Let's pray. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me. Bless his holy name. Father in heaven, we thank you so very much for a wonderful evening like this. We thank you for another successful press dinner. We are grateful more than words can express for the privilege to assist those that are less fortunate than us. Let us not become weary in doing good, because your word says that at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Thank you for bringing us here safely, and we pray for journey mercy as we are about to depart. We love you so much because you love us first. 1 Timothy 1:17. Now to the King eternal, immortal, invisible, the only God, the honor and glory forever and ever. Amen.
Amen. Amen.